Here are two practice questions with model answers designed exactly around the Civil Services IAS Main Examination GS Paper IV, Ethics, Integrity, and Aptitude syllabus, specifically targeting attitude, content, structure, function, its influence and relation with thought and behavior, moral and political attitudes. Question 1. Structure and function of attitude Q. Discuss the structural components of attitude. How does attitude perform corresponding behavior? 150 words, 10 marks, model answer. 1. Structural components of attitude, the CAB model. An attitude is structured around three interconnected components: cognitive, the beliefs, knowledge, or factual information held about an object, e.g., believing that cleanliness prevents diseases. Affective, the emotional aspect or feelings toward the object, e.g., feeling disgusted by litter. Behavioral, conative, the tendency or predisposition to act in a certain way, e.g., participating in a cleanliness drive. 2. Functional roles. According to psychologist Daniel Katz, attitudes serve four core functions: utilitarian, helping individuals maximize rewards and minimize punishments; ego defensive, protecting self-esteem from internal anxieties or external threats, e.g., blaming a system rather than acknowledging personal failure; value expressive, allowing individuals to manifest their central values and self-identity; knowledge function, providing simplified frames of reference to organize and understand a complex world. 3. When attitude fails to translate into behavior. Attitude and behavior are often misaligned due to external situational pressures, social coercion or fear of backlash, e.g., an officer who is against corruption but remains silent due to political pressure. Low attitude strength, ambivalent, weak, or peripherally formed attitudes change easily under temptation. Lack of specificity. General attitudes do not always dictate specific actions, e.g., holding a general attitude of loving environment, but failing to segregate household waste daily. Question 2. Moral versus political attitude Q. Differentiate between moral attitude and political attitude. How do these attitudes influence the decision-making of a civil servant confronted with a policy dilemma? 250 words, 15 marks, model answer. 4. Conceptual distinction. Attribute. Moral attitude. Political attitude. Core focus. Grounded in ideas of right and wrong, virtue, justice, and human dignity. Grounded in ideas of governance, state authority, citizenship, and socio-economic ideologies, e.g., left, right, center. Nature. Universal and absolute, driven by conscience. Pragmatic, contextual, and driven by group interests or political philosophy. Evaluation base. Evaluates actions based on ethical standards, deontology or utilitarianism. Evaluates actions based on political viability, public interest, or ideological alignment. 5. Influence on a civil servant's decision-making. A civil servant often faces policy dilemmas where their moral and political attitudes clash or intertwine. When moral attitude dominates, it acts as an internal compass. If a policy is politically popular but ethically compromised, e.g., majoritarian policies that marginalize a weak minority, a strong moral attitude ensures the bureaucrat upholds constitutional morality, objectivity, and empathy over political expedience. When political attitude dominates, it shapes how a civil servant views state intervention. A bureaucrat leaning toward a socialist political attitude might prioritize aggressive state-led welfare schemes, whereas one with a market-liberal political attitude might favor deregulation and public-private partnerships to achieve efficiency. 6. Resolving the dilemma. For a civil servant, a personal political attitude must always be secondary to political neutrality. When faced with a dilemma, the synthesis of these attitudes should be mediated through the Constitution of India. The ideal decision-making framework requires the civil servant to filter political directives through statutory laws, political realism, while anchoring their execution in foundational values like integrity, compassion, and non-partisanship, moral attitude. This ensures public service remains both structurally compliant and ethically sound. To help you prepare effectively for GS Paper IV, how would you like to proceed? Practice a case study on this topic. Explore persuasion and attitude change.